Welcome, friends, for this second half of today's program. I'm again very happy to see all of you and to see the seeking on your faces. You are all seekers of truth. We are co-travelers. You and I are traveling on the same path. Sometimes we take some detours, and sometimes we take long detours and come back. But we are on the same track. Ultimately, we come back to the same thing. To go to different parts of the energy and awareness centers inside, there are many routes. We can try many methods. There is a description of so many yogas by which one can experience the energy in the body, in the 6 chakras of the energy center below the eyes. And there are several methods people have tried to go behind the eyes and go into the higher awareness centers, into astral and causal planes. But when you go beyond that, there's only one way. Then it all merges into one track. The track that is carried by love and devotion alone. At that stage, nothing else counts. No other effort counts. To go beyond the mind, nothing else counts except love and devotion. So if we know that our destination, our ultimate destination, is our true home, beyond the mind, why not keep this in mind from the beginning, that love and devotion is going to be the answer, and start from there, right from here, right now? Because love and devotion can be experienced at any time. How do we develop love and devotion? We can't. There's no way, because the moment you start trying, it becomes a mental effort. So to say, I am going to love somebody is a mental effort. You can get attached. You can feel attracted to somebody. You can have other kinds of attractions. But to say that you're going to love somebody is not something in your hands. Then how do we love? We all love somebody. We love somebody who pulls us from the other side. There has to be a pull. There has to be something that pulls us, and love flows out of us. So love is not something that we are capable of generating with our will. Love is a pull that comes. Something must pull us from there. Love comes. If love is strong and pure, then our response is not merely love, it becomes love and devotion. We become devoted. And we want to do anything in devotion. So that is why we continuously use these terms, love and devotion. Love is created by the pull of the beloved. Like I sometimes quote that Persian, Farsi phrase, Ishq awwal dar dile mashuk paida mishwad. That love is first born in the heart of the beloved. And then the beloved pulls you, you are automatically pulled. Then you want to do anything, and that's devotion. Now, if this is the thing, and we get pulled by the love which comes from a perfect living master, you remove one wall of your mental thinking and you'll experience that love. And when you experience that, whatever you do in response is your devotion. And this is what is going to carry us beyond the mind. So make that an essential part. If you have those feelings, put those feelings into practice. I talked of a mechanical, mental way of withdrawing your attention to the third eye center, creating an imaginary body. This is a mechanical, mental thing. It's not spiritual. But if with that body inside, the imaginary body, you talk about love, you talk about devotion, it becomes spiritual. The love and devotion should be kept with you at all times, at every level of your meditation. Starting from here, and even when you are having experiences within, that should be something that is continuously flowing from you. You cannot do much about how much love flows from you, but some devotion is within your hands. How you devote, how you respond to somebody, that's in your hands. And that response is good. So when you express your love, when you feel love for somebody in this physical world, you express it. The expression is not always in words. Sometimes we use words without expressing love. I hear them all the time. I love you, do you love me also? The other person says, but I don't love you, then I also hate you. You know, that kind of conversation I hear. But that is not the expression of love. The expression of love is when you generate a smile, you generate something that you feel is coming from somewhere other than your mind. It comes from your heart, which is they call it heart, but actually nothing happens in the heart, in the physical heart. It comes from the intuitive self inside. But to distinguish, we say head and heart, and then the mental things are head and the intuitive things are heart. This is just a way of saying so. It's not nothing to do with the physical heart. So that intuitive self that responds is the devotion, and you can express that devotion. That is why when you come across a perfect living master, the first thing you will notice is that if it is a relationship based upon love, then he becomes your friend, best friend. If there's no friendship between the disciple and the master, then this is not the path of spirituality I'm talking of. Then that is a worship game. Worship is different. You worship, you can worship any idol, you can worship any idea, you can worship anything. But the relationship with a perfect living master who takes you back to your true home beyond the mind is one of friendship. You travel together like friends. Therefore, in meditation, you talk like friends, that you manifest. When a perfect living master initiates us, which means he accepts us, he places himself inside us. We can't see him because our attention is not there. When the attention is fully pulled in and we forget our body, we can see him. Even then we see him at a distance, but gradually he comes closer to us and we can have a conversation like we have with the physical body. But till that happens, it doesn't mean he's not there, he's there. If you can't see him, he can see you. If you can't hear him, he can hear you. Therefore, continue to have a conversation with him. We use different methods to concentrate our attention at the third eye center. One of the methods is repetition of words, repetition of mantra. Main purpose of repetition of words is to block the mind from thinking of other words. You could use any word and keep on repeating it, it will serve that purpose. That we make it magical words is for some other reason, not for the reason that it helps us in concentrating our attention at the third eye center. By repetition of words, we try to control this, so we don't think of other things. But supposing instead of those words, you're having a conversation with your master inside, that's also holding your attention inside. Supposing you use the words and interrupt them by conversation, it enhances your power to concentrate your attention inside. I'm giving you very practical tips about this because otherwise we keep on repeating words and keep on thinking of the whole world. The words are being repeated like mechanically and the thoughts are all somewhere else. But when we involve a living person inside and have a conversation, our thoughts are there. And we pull our concentration of attention right behind the eyes. So we should use this right from the beginning of meditation, a conversation with the perfect living master as a friend. Because we are friends. This is one friend you will find with whom you can share anything and everything, which is very difficult to share with most friends in this world. But this will be one friend where you will be absolutely confident to do that. And also get the best advice, what to do in daily life and inside, both. It's a continuous friendship. one of the very great disciples of a great master, my master, his name was Dr. Ishwar Singh, many stories about him. He used to say that the master is your first guru afterwards. He's a friend first and a master afterwards. If I don't even feel he's a friend, how can I have it as a master? So he was changing from an idea of worship of somebody to loving somebody and devoting to somebody. So this is a good tip, to have a continuous conversation with the master. It's not good to have a conversation with a picture, with a photograph. Some people do that. They keep a photograph of the master, and they then look at the photograph, then they imagine the photograph inside, and they talk. That's not talking to the master, they're talking to a picture, to a photograph. But if you have seen the master with your own eyes and remember what you saw, even for a moment, if you have seen the master even for one moment and can recall that moment, you can recall the master as you saw him, and that image comes in front of you, and you stay with that image, the image becomes alive and starts talking to you. It moves forward from that point. It does not mean that you have to remember all that happened and only stick with that. This is only to pull the memory, to pull a live memory of a live person. And then that person continues to be alive and continues to be talking to you independently like he would be talking physically. This is a great, great, beautiful part, pleasurable part of meditation. The rest is very dry, if nothing is happening, meditation becomes such a chore. And then meditation becomes, I have to do 2.5 hours. Every few minutes I look at this. We're just looking at the watch. But if you're having a good conversation, time passes very fast. And your concentration is much better. And you get to know your inner self much better that way. So these are practical things that have helped me. I'm sharing with you, so they'll help you. So make this a very active form of relationship with the perfect living master. It is not that once you found him, it's just a picture, it's just an idea, then you just gloat over the idea. That people have been doing in religion all the time. They take pictures. Masters who are not alive, they make pictures of idols, pictures of statues, and they just go on thinking about them. They are talking to their mind. They are not talking to anybody else. When a person says to me, God is in everything and I can worship anything and talk to God, I say, everything that you talk to except a human being, you're talking to your own mind. Check it out. People say we worship birds. A bird can come and represent the same creator that a human being can. You talk to the bird. And when the bird chirps, the person says, that's what he's saying. Your mind is interpreting what the bird is saying. You're talking to your mind. People tell me, our masters we have never seen because they're sitting, ascended masters in the Himalayas. And we talk to them inside. I said, there are no masters, I've gone to the Himalayas. The ones that you talk of don't exist, and you're talking to your mind. This is all mental game. When you talk to your mind continuously, the mind is very interested in keeping you engaged in activities here, therefore you remain attached to things out here. To go beyond the mind, into a spiritual realm, you have to talk to a human being who can say no to you. Do you know these birds never say no? These ascended masters never say no. These trees, animals, they never say no. A human being says no. Your mind never says no. Human being says no. That's the advantage of a human being. And a human being who can say no has a separate awareness, and you have created a master through the creative process who has totality of awareness besides you, outside in this experience, and can say no to you. And therefore, that's a real relationship. And therefore, if you have to have that conversation, it should not be the picture, not with any other image, but with a living person whom you have seen. That is why people sometimes say, Can we be initiated by a person or a master who never seen? Yeah, you can be. But you cannot really meditate and go anywhere. You have to come back again. This course of going back to true home is not a short one. In terms of time, it can take several lifetimes. It does take several lifetimes. But they say once you are initiated by a perfect living master, it cannot take more than 4 lives. This was a big subject of discussion when I first came to this country, because everybody was waiting for 4 lives. I was asking them, I asked them, how do you know this is your first life or second or third or fourth? Have you any idea which life it is? And you are all waiting for 4 more lives? This may be the 4th one. Even if it is not, treat it like one and go back quickly home. Where you try to waste time and go for another life? The idea came from some masters saying this is a long course. The master named Swami Seth Sibdyal Singh of Agra, where the Radha Swami faith started. He said, and that was recorded in the verses his disciples produced, Ek janam, I'll translate for you, Ek janam gur bhakti, janam dusre naam, janam tisre turiya pad, chauthe mein nij dham. He said, one lifetime you spend on Guru Bhakti, on building up love and devotion for a Guru. In the second life, you get initiated. In the third life, you reach the causal plane, at the top of the mind. 4th life, you reach your true home. So because he said this whole concept of 4 lives came. Now, my master was giving a discourse one day, and he mentioned this, just what I mentioned to you. That after you get initiated by a perfect living master, of course there's no question of getting more than 3 more lives. My father, who was a disciple of great master, was not present in that meeting. In the evening he met him. He said, Master, I understand you said in your discourse today that after you get initiated, you can't come for more than 4 lives. Is that true? He said, Lekh Raj, that was my father's name. Lekh Raj, why are you bothered about it? This is your last life. Why are you thinking of 4 lives? My dad said, I was thinking, what about if I need a 5th one? He said, Master, I understand masters come again and again. And if I love you so much and want to be your company and I find out you are going to come for 5th time, you think I should be stuck there because I've done 4 lives? That's why I'm asking. Upon that, great master explained to all the people who were assembled there that this 4 lives should not be taken very seriously. If a master initiates you and you follow his instructions to the best ability that you can, this is your last life. Just following instructions makes this your last life. If you cannot follow, and you know you are failing, and you couldn't complete it somehow, and you are aware of it, you can come for a second life. Only if you leave the path and run away and say, no, this is no good, it's not the true thing, then you may have to come third life. Only if you become somebody against the master, attack him, kill him, assassinate him, crucify him, you may have to come for the 4th life. So don't take 4 lives as a normal thing. Normal thing is 1 life. So some people have been, because a lot of people used to think of 4 lives being standard. It's not standard. 1 life is standard. And the rest is exception to the standard. So if you follow the instructions as best as you can, and I'm telling you some tips about love and devotion, which makes it a certainty this will be your last life. If you introduce this element of love and devotion in your meditation, this is your last life. But if you do it mechanically and the love is not there and you don't even feel strongly about it, you just have to complete a chore, I have to sit 2.5 hours, then you have to come again. If you have not seen the master, you have to come again. Because the whole idea of visual imagining, visual contemplation in dhyan, in meditation of a master, arises from your physically seeing that master. Therefore, physical seeing is important. If you cannot physically see and recall that image, then you have to come again. Although you are initiated, you are on the path, you are guaranteed to go home. So it's important to spend more time with the master. Again, an American disciple of great master asked him, he said, "Master, how often should we come and see you?" Great master said, "The best is if you can see me every day." He said, "But Master, people living far away, how can they come and see you every day?" He said, "If somebody is not close by, they can come once a week. It's all right." Now, in that meeting, when he was saying this, my grandfather, who became a disciple after my father of Great Master, he was present. From that day, he went to Great Master every week, without fail. Because he said, if you're not living there, coming from outside, come once a week. He would go once a week. He heard the master say, that's a good way to spend time. But, Master, if somebody is living far, very far away, not within reach, and cannot afford even to come that often, then Master said, then once a month should be all right. Then the American disciple said, "Master, we living overseas. It's very costly to travel. How often should we come from overseas?" And Great Master said, "In that case, come once a year. It's all right." Then he said, "Supposing, Master, we can't come once a year." Master had a smile and said, "Then wait for next life." It's important. They say there's an importance of satsang. What is satsang? Satsang, the company of the truth. The experience of being with the master, the experience of gathering together, the experience of talking about the master, thinking about the master, that experience has to be repeated often. For the simple reason, if we don't do it, our mind floats away. Our mind has too many attachments outside and does not stay. So, but every time we gather together, at least once a month we gather together, people can come from at least some distances. Some can come once a year. But really speaking, if you don't even have time for that, then there is something odd about the priorities of life. I sometimes say that if you want to be successful on the spiritual path, you should set your priorities right. What is more important? Somebody said, I had to go shopping, so sorry I missed the satsang. I just wanted to buy a chair. And I went and I didn't have enough money. It was an $800 chair. I only had $100. I put my $100. I'm telling a true story. I put $100 for layaway. So chair was laid away for me. So when I complete $800, I'll pick it up. So I missed the satsang. Next month I had to pay another $100, so I missed the satsang. After that, the person died, neither got the chair nor came to satsang. True story. Now what is happening to that person? He has to be reborn just for the sake of the chair. He has to complete the payment of the chair and pick it up. So we get into priorities which are not the most important for us. If you are on the spiritual path in all seriousness and want to be on list A, which means go this very lifetime, put this as priority number one. Put this priority number one overriding everything else you do. Now you might say, sometimes I have more important things to do. And if I start putting the spirituality ahead of my worldly responsibilities, I put my meditation over my going in time to my job, to my boss will fire me. I said, have you tried it? Because I tried it. And I'd done lots of jobs. Lots of jobs. In government, in private sector, businessman, every type of job I've done. When I put the priority high, all the jobs went well. Better than they would have if I had not put priority on spirituality. We don't realize that everything adjusts. After all, it's all being created from the same source. Everything adjusts according to your priority, what is more important for you. That is why if you put priority on your spiritual path, this is number one. Everything else falls into place and goes beautifully. And then it's beautiful because then you can see the effect. You can see that you spend time at the third eye center in the morning with your master. The whole day things are happening, and you say, Master, you did it because you told me something you're going to do, and the whole day is doing like that. You see a series of miracles on that day. Try it out. This is not a theoretical model. This is a practical experience. You can practically see. Don't go by book knowledge. Go by actual experience in these things. Try it out. Try for 1 week. Put priority number one and see how things go so smoothly. Everything goes smoothly after that. So these are things that you will learn as you go along, and then the spirituality becomes part of your life. Then you are automatically on the spiritual path. No effort is needed. Do you know there's no effort needed to love somebody? If you fall in love, there's no effort involved. And I just read earlier in the morning that when you surrender to the Master's love, your effort is over. That's the effort, finished. After that, everything flows. But the problem only is when the mind comes in and says, I have to make an effort now. Why don't you let the Master also make a little effort? Why not try that, experiment that? That, okay, Master wants you to see, you say you are my friend, you have more power than I have. Okay, let's see, test it out. At least my mind will be also happy to see this. And let me test out in a few cases and let's see your power. You will see it. These are amazing things that you find by experience. But if you are in a state of doubt and skepticism and don't even try this, you can't see it. And sometimes the mind blocks us and we can't even try and see it. So we should open the mind. Actually, the mind has got so involved in these things. When some of you will come next time to my meditation workshop, please remind me. I'll tell you how to separate the mind from yourself, the soul. So you can at least see this is the mind. Right now it's all so merged, it's all so mixed up. You think, you say, I am thinking. You see, I has got associated, the self has got associated with the process of the mind. It is not so. It's using the mind to think. The mind is a machine. It's like a computer. You're using it. It's installed in the same place. But just because we use it all the time, we've identified with it. So when you can learn to put the mind aside, the mind, do your business, I do mine. You can do that. You can enjoy a meditation session with the mind trying to think of all sorts of things, you ignoring it. You can do that. So you have to learn how to distinguish between your own self, the soul, consciousness, per se, life force per se, and the thinking machine that's added to it for the sake of thinking. So once you are able to do it, your life changes, your meditation changes. So I'm very happy to share all this with you. They have Prashad today, right?
Yes.
And Prashad is blessed food. It's a traditional thing that we used to go to Great Master, he would give us Prashad. It was puffed rice. We would take it, blessed by him. Blessed doesn't change the molecular structure of the Prashad, by the way. It doesn't change anything. It's still the same food. Lest you think. Some people take it home as Prashad. I'll eat it for medicine. I'll skip today I've got pain. I'll not take my Tylenol. I'll take the Prashad. It won't work. A Prashad is to take, to be able to remember who gave it. It's the association of the ideas with that Prashad. That is, the value of Prashad is that every time you take, you think of Master. Which is good because that goes on with our able to remember the master and think of other things much less. So prasad helps in that. So this prasad that is going to be given, I'll bless it with my great master's blessings. And how many of you would like to take it? Oh, quite a few. I thought if there are few, I'll come over and give it to you with my new knee, but I don't think, I think you'll have to come to me. Is that all right with you? Okay, shall we get the prasad then?